Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel today. So, today this video has just been recorded following the start of the EFL season. My local club Exeter have just beaten Wycombe away from home 3-0. Of course, a great start to the EFL season. Now I think it's time to do my season preview for Manchester United. So, please do watch and follow along with my Manchester United season preview. Now, I think it's important to mention, pre-season a bit mixed. I'm not going to go into too much detail on pre-season because I don't really watch too much of it. Obviously, with a lot of it being on MUTV and things like that, or work, and a lot of it's been in America, so early times in the morning. So I haven't seen an awful lot of our pre-season. A lot of what I think on pre-season will come from my favourite YouTube channel for Manchester United fans in Stretford Paddock. So a lot of my information comes from them. But it was a bit of a mixed bag. Been some really standout players, but also some players that maybe will be leaving us or not quite being there. Maguire being one of those players that didn't really play too much, and when he did, wasn't fantastic. Donny van der Beek, whilst he did play at times in pre-season, was alright. Did even score in our opening pre-season game, but I very much think he's going to be one to leave the club. One that I hope doesn't leave, and he may have left by the time this video comes out, is Fred. I actually, one of the few fans maybe that does rate Fred. I think he just gives you something different and sort of does work hard on the ball and off the ball. So I'd be ashamed to see him leave if he does go. The other one is Scott McTominay, who's been rumoured, who hasn't really featured in pre-season. He's one that actually I would fully support selling. I don't think he's good enough for us anymore. So I'll really start getting into it. I'm going to start with the director of football, John Murtagh. I think since he's come in last season, halfway through last season, whenever it was announced, we've done some really good business. He seems to work well with Erik ten Hag and Darren Fletcher in terms of recruitment and ensuring we get the right technical players and things like that in the door. So yeah, I've been really impressed with his strategy in the transfer window and how he sort of recruits players, so yeah, I think very impressed with him and watching his interviews. He's a very forward-thinking guy with a lot of good points. So, and I think he's doing things right for Manchester United. I think he's probably the best we've had since David Gill, and he's absolutely fantastic. So I'm delighted to have him, really, and I think he's doing a fantastic job for Manchester United. We don't seem to be like in the Woodward days where we're faffing around over a player and then overpaying. We don't really seem to be doing that. We seem to get deals tied up quite early. I mean, look at the Mason Mount deal. Yes, people say that took a week or so, but it was done quickly. It wasn't done deadline day, which previously, under the previous people probably would have done. I want to then talk about Darren Fletcher a little bit, technical director. Now, I think he does a great job. Again, he's obviously part of Eric's coaching staff as a coach as well. So yeah, two good appointments from the football club there, and two people who are actually doing really, really well for us behind the scenes. And then I want to talk about Erik ten Hag. For me, Erik ten Hag was the man who, when we were looking around at potential managers, he was the guy I wanted. I think I was proven why. I think the way he talks and the way he handled Ronaldo, for example, where no one's bigger than the club. If you're not going to do this, then you can leave, basically. I think that is very, very good from Ten Hag. I think it shows that he's got balls as a manager and he's able to manage people correctly. And yeah, it's been really, really exciting watching him, and I think it makes a nice change from the last 10 years, really. I think, it reminds me very much of the way Fergie used to manage players. Mainly from what I've heard, because obviously being a Man United fan and being in my 20s, I haven't seen all of the Fergie era. But yeah, just on that. So, yeah. Second year with Ten Hag, I think, I think we'll look to kick on, hopefully win another trophy or two. hopefully kick our way up the Premier League table. I think it was really important. I think Erik ten Hag is the man, and I think we'll improve this season. I think we'll potentially do a lot better. Obviously, won the Carabao Cup last year, which was a fantastic achievement. FA Cup final first year, brilliant. Obviously, let down by David De Gea in that final, in my opinion. But I think, I'm really, really happy with Erik ten Hag so far, and I think he's only going to end up taking us to the next level, and I think he probably will be the manager who wins us the Premier League next. I'm not going to say whether I think that's this season yet or not, but I do think he's a future Premier League winner manager with Manchester United. Steve McClaren again. I'm going to be brief about him, but an assistant, not had the most success as a manager recently. But a man who was one of Fergie's assistants many years ago, knows the club inside out, and I think again it's proven why Erik's decided to bring him in. Not only was Erik his assistant at 20 in Holland, which I find a little bit funny, but also I think his experience at Manchester United. Like I say, he knows the club, and that seems to be going across to the players. And I've seen clips that Man United posted of him in training and stuff, and I've been really, really impressed. So that's been really, really good, and I've been really happy with that. And I think Steve McClaren is a welcome person at Manchester United. Signings. At the time of recording, we've signed Rasmus Højlund from Atalanta for 72 million. Now, promising young striker, a striker that, when you look at his numbers, people say it doesn't look great, but when you take into account that he's played the minutes he's played, and then you work out that that's the equivalent of 20 games, and he scored 11 goals. I think that's not a bad return, really, and I think he'll only improve at Manchester United with the service, etc. Mason Mount comes in from Chelsea for £60 million. One I didn't see coming, but one that kind of makes sense. Erik ten Hag has said that he's had his eye on Mason Mount from his loan days in Holland in the Eredivisie. So obviously a player that he respects a lot, and a player that he really, really wants involved with the football club. Andre Onana. Apologies. Andre Onana is the next player through the door. He's coming from Inter Milan for 52 million. Was really good in the Champions League final. Has been a player that Erik worked with at Ajax. Really rated at Ajax. Spoke highly of him. A player who is a goalkeeper who likes to play out from the back, does like to get on the ball, does open up his body and look to play. Bit more with his feet, better with his distribution. So basically the total opposite of David De Gea, and a player that I'm really, really excited to have at Manchester United, and I think it will help us kick on to that next level. The other one that's kind of come out of nowhere is Johnny Evans on a free. Now I know we've announced that currently it's a short-time deal, but it is expected actually, at the time of recording, it is believed that we are going to give him a 1-year contract. I know that I'm going to do something that I don't normally do in a preview video. I talk about a potential incoming. Now, an incoming that Fabrizio Romano says is on the way, and negotiations have been going on since really the start of the window, is Sofyan Amrabat. Now, he's a player I don't know an awful lot all about, but when I was watching the Qatar World Cup and him for Monaco in that sort of pivot /6 role as a defensive midfielder, I was very impressed with him. Again, his ability to turn players and look to play the ball forward, and also his break-up play as well, I was really impressed with. So hopefully if we get that through the line, then that's a great option as a backup to Casemiro, who we all know is getting on a little bit, but is a fantastic player nevertheless. Looking at the outs, I'm going to try and talk through this a little bit more briefly. Will Fish, loaned to Hibs. He was on loan at Hibs last season. Young centre-back, I think he's about 19, 20. So he'll do all right, I think. He may play for Manchester United. My feeling is probably, as we sent him out on loan again, that maybe not. But obviously it gives Eric a little chance to see how he does in the top flight league. Anthony Elanga, Forest, 15 mil. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I think when he first burst onto the scene at Manchester United, he was a player who seemed to have a lot of promise. And then when Garnacho came on the scene and, you know, Anthony was brought in and Sancho had that brief period where he actually started to play well. He wasn't really getting in the team, and then when he did play, I thought he looked awful. So a player that I think we've done well to get money for and to sell him. Telles, Alex Telles. He's gone to Al Nassr for £5 million. Yeah, not a lot to say about that one. We sent him out on loan last season. I was disappointed when we sent him out on loan last season because I've been impressed by him. But he's not really played for us, and Luke Shaw, unfortunately for him, ended up having two of the best seasons of his life during the signing of Telles. So, yeah, wish him all the best at Al Nassr, and of course he's going to play with former teammate Cristiano Ronaldo. Zidane Iqbal, I was very surprised at this one. A player who's played a couple of times for us already. Did alright in pre-season from what I saw. And then, well, I think like that, behind closed doors games supposedly did quite well. I think he may have played the first game of pre-season, and then it comes out that we sold him for £1 million to Utrecht. So I wish him the best at Utrecht. I'm sure he'll do well there. And I know there's supposedly a buyback clause in there. So, it's a strange one, but I've seen Manchester City do that with players and then bring them back and then be good. So we'll see. We'll see on that one. Phil Jones released. About time, isn't it? Like, he's not played for 2 years and he's not really been that much. I thought this should have come a couple of years ago when out of the blue. He played a couple of games and then we gave him a new 2-3 year deal. So I think, yeah, absolutely right time. Should have gone, has gone. Move on. Axel Tuanzebe. Again, Tuanzebe didn't really step up for Manchester United. I mean, he had that brief spell a couple of years ago, either under Mourinho or Solskjaer, where he looked all right. But went on loan to Villa, did very well. Went back on loan to Villa, did all right. Came back, didn't look very good. Was poor. Sent him on loan again to Stoke last season. And apparently he looked very, very poor there. So not a player that I think we'll miss. It's a shame. Academy product, but I wish him all the best wherever he does go, because at the time of recording, he hasn't joined a new club. David De Gea. Now, this is one that I didn't see coming in the way that it was done. I didn't see David De Gea being released on a free. Didn't see that coming, I'll be honest. But I like the brutality from Ten Hag, if I'm honest. Most clean sheets in the Premier League last season, so he's still a decent goalkeeper. He's a good shot stopper, but I think Ten Hag likes to play where he can trust his goalkeeper to play out one way, play out the other way, and I don't think you get that with David De Gea, and I think, this has probably been the writing on the wall for a couple of years now. So yeah, seeing him leave, of course, it's sad. He was, until Johnny Evans returned, the last player who'd won a trophy under Fergie, still here. But yeah, look, I think it was time for him to move on. He's moved on, and I wish him all the best, really. And I think, it's probably best for both parties. And I wish David De Gea all the best. And like I say, the way it was done was maybe a little bit disrespectful on Man United's front, that we put a contract on the table and then pulled that away. I don't think that was fair on David De Gea, but I think from the club's point of view, I can get it. Because you got Andre Onana, who You've then heard that Inter are potentially willing to sell to you, who is much better on the ball, does play the way that Ten Hag wants to play, and I don't think De Gea would have been happy with being second fiddle. Although it would have been nice, I don't think he would have been happy with that, and I think also it was time for us to move him on. Bjorn Hardley, don't know a lot about him, youth player. Tipped as a player that might play for us one day, hasn't played for us, as far as I'm aware off the top of my head. We sold him to Utrecht for 750,000, so wish him all the best. Probably one we've got a buyback clause in, I imagine. Ethan Laird we sold to Birmingham for £2 million. I believe he was on loan somewhere last season, did alright. So I wish him all the best at Birmingham. One I didn't see coming, but all the best to him at Birmingham City as they look to improve on last season in the Championship, of course, under new ownership. I believe, I think it's gone through, or they're talking about new ownership at the time of recording. Ethan Galbraith has joined Leyton Orient on a free. Wish him all the best. Didn't really play. When he did, he looked okay, but just okay, so I wish him all the best at Leyton Orient. Deshaun Bernard didn't really play for us. Been sent on several loan spells, so I wish him all the best at Sheffield Wednesday. Nathan Bishop played for us in pre-season, of course. Snapped Paul Mullin in pre-season, didn't he? Probably should have been sent off for that, really. But, sold him to Sunderland for £3 million. I think that's probably good business. I'm guessing Sunderland needed a keeper, and he's not going to. Nathan Bishop is probably fifth choice at Manchester United, really. When you look at it, Henderson is still here at point of recording, so you got Onana will be number 1. I imagine Henderson 2, Heaton 3, Kovar 4. Yeah, you've got Nathan Bishop as fifth choice. So I think, probably best for both parties. And the last sale I'm going to talk about is Charlie Savage to Reading. This again is another one, a bit like Iqbal, I didn't see coming. I've been impressed with the bits I have seen with Charlie Savage. For Manchester United, he always looked good, he always looked to get on the ball, of course he scored. I'm sure Robbie Savage will carry on talking about that day, about his boy scoring, because he couldn't stop crying or talking about it at the time when he scored for us. But I think... one I didn't see coming, but he looked all right for Forest Green. He didn't have the greatest loan spells there. I think it's difficult to tell when they've had a poor season. I believe again another one we put a buyback clause in, but he's gone to Reading for £1 million, and I wish him all the best, and hopefully he'll go on to play at the top level again, because I think, or at least in the Premier League again, because I think he's probably is good enough for it. Promoted youth. Mainly on pre-season, it looks like these 3 players in particular are going to be involved with the first team. Alvaro Fernandez, wing back or left back, a player who looks very, very good, possibly could be the second or third choice behind Shaw this season. Really, really looking forward to what we see from him. Had a good loan deal with Preston last season, so it'd be interesting to see how he does with us this year. Whether we keep him, I imagine we probably will. And from what I hear and from what I see, he has impressed in pre-season. Teden Mengi, again another player who was out on loan last season. I think he was at Birmingham last season off the top of my head. A player who I think really creates chances, or creates his chances, I should say. With the first team, times he's played, he's looked all right for us, and he had a good couple of loan spells, I think, with MK Dons and with Birmingham, I think it was. Hopefully one for the future, and one that does break through as like the third right back maybe this season, and potentially get a couple of chances to play for us. And Kobbie Mainoo. Now this is the main one. This is the guy who made Declan Rice look stupid, basically. I think he looked so good in that game. He controlled the ball, dominated the game against Arsenal from what I saw. Fantastic young player. It was a shame when he got injured in pre-season, but from hearing, Erik ten Hag is definitely a player that we're looking to play this year. and not looking to loan him out, and I think that's brilliant because he looks absolutely phenomenal. And looks like the next big thing out of our academy, and it's really a credit to everyone involved really in the academy, because we keep producing players year after year. And yeah, Kobbie Mainoo looks absolutely fantastic, and I look forward to seeing him actually play for us as a first team. Now, I'm wary that this video is dragging on a little bit, so I'm going to go with my prediction against Wolves week on Monday. So I'm recording this on the Saturday, so in about 9 days time we play Wolves at home to start our league campaign. Now, Julian Lopetegui's side haven't had the best pre-season. I think they've lost every game apart from one or something. There seems to be some issues going on at Wolves. There's some rumours that Lopetegui may not even get to take charge of that first game. So we'll see how that plans out. We'll see how that goes. But, you know, we probably will face Lopetegui. But at the minute, it seems like we may not. And whoever's in the dugout, I'm sure Wolves will do their best. But they seem to have lost a lot of key players. I think, you know, I see it being an easier game for us than years gone by. Particularly with Erik ten Hag style, with the signings we've made, but also the key players like Ruben Neves, João Moutinho, and players like that Wolves have lost. Diego Costa, Adama Traore, players like that to name but a few that have left Wolves this summer. I think the game's going to be a 3-0 win. I think it's going to be an easy game. I'm not saying that it's gonna be a game where it could be 4-5-0 and it's 3-0. I think, you know, Wolves will create chances. I think, you know, and we will have good chances that maybe we should score. But I just see it being a 3-0 win for us. And lastly, my league prediction. Now, my league prediction for Man United this season is second, and I'll tell you why. I think we're going to finish second this year. I think the signings we've made, I think the way Eric's trying to get us to play, I think the fact we've now got Andre Onana who can play with his feet over David De Gea, I think it helps us kick on. I think we will finish second. On that, I think we'll improve. I think, in my opinion, I think we'll do better than Arsenal. I think Arsenal will have a year where they expect to be up there, and, you know, sort of drop off a little bit and lose the eye. I'm not saying we're going to have a title race with City, because I don't think we will. I hate to say it, I think City is still going to win the league this year. I think it'll be the first time that a club's won it 4 years in a row. And look, but I do think we're going to get closer this year. I think it'll be another year that we finish second, but unlike previously, I think it's going to be a year where we show we can win this league. And I think Erik ten Hag means business. I think the signings we've made show we mean business, and I think we're really going to kick on and hopefully be a success and really help our journey, I suppose, back to being the best in the league, or one of the best in the league, and in the country. And I still believe we're the biggest football club to play in England. I still believe we always will be the biggest football club in England. And I think we have a real chance to challenge for the title this year. And I don't think we will in terms of win it. I don't think in terms of being near Man City. I don't think so. But I think we'll be closer than Arsenal this year, based on the additions we've made. So, yeah. Let me know what your thoughts are on this video in the comments below. Where do you think Manchester United will finish? What do you think of our business so far? And where do you think where do you think we'll finish? What do you think of Erik ten Hag? Do you think he is going to be that person that finally gets us back to that pedestal at the top of the league? Or, you know, all those things. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. And it's been a pleasure having you all with me for this video, for this review. This preview, my final preview for my clubs. And yeah, been a real privilege. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.